if you're in court and you do not have an ADA advocate with you, your disability rights are not going to be upheld, in my opinion and in my experience. Here's a family court judge disclosing that in custody battles, lawyers regularly convince clients to avoid mentioning being abused. That's wrong. Domestic violence and sexual abuse are disabilities under the ADA. They substantially limit one or more major life activities. And lawyers are afraid to bring this into court to hold judges accountable with this. And there's nowhere that this is more egregious than in family court. If you have a custody battle going on and there's been abuse, you need an ADA advocate to represent to the court before you get into court. Not as your lawyer, but to get you administrative access. You need an ADA advocate to help you assert your rights so that you can have equal access to court. Period. This is a problem. And courts are stomping on people left and right. And at the end of this, what do we have? A system that's broken and continues to break other people.
Since 1990, her group has trained 10,000 judges, a tiny fraction of the total. One thing they teach, to avoid ignoring abuse claims because they're a so-called he said, she said.
We make decisions about he said, she said every single day. Every single day. We decide whether someone's paying the rent or not. But for some reason, when it comes to these cases, we all want to take a pass.
But while they are in family court, she says, decisions are rarely appealed or overturned.
What kind of power does a family court judge have?
Oh, now you're talking about a significant amount of power.
Thank you very much.
Judge Gonzalez is part of the National Council of Juvenile and Family Court Judges, which offers training for judges who handle custody cases.
If you have untrained judges that don't understand the dynamics of trauma, they will make assumptions, and those assumptions will lead to decisions that are based upon error.
In May of 2018, the judge in the case issued a custody order, acknowledging that when questioned about the multiple incidents of violence, aggression, and illegal behaviors, father did not express any remorse or regret, nor did he accept responsibility for his conduct. But the judge granted the father unsupervised visits. Less than 3 months later, Caden's father beat Kathy's little girl to death, then took his own life.
How many people did I have to beg for help? How many people did it take? And it didn't work.
A judicial misconduct complaint about the judge was dismissed by a state panel. That judge has called Caden's murder a tragedy that could be utilized as a teachable moment for the public. And the court told NBC News the decision in the case was made in compliance with Pennsylvania law.
His parents are going through a bitter divorce. He lived here with his dad, we're told.
Sadly, across the country, children have died following custody battles.
So a mother there accused of killing her own 3 young children.
Accused of drowning the boy during a court-ordered visit in October. His mother says those visits should never have happened.
These issues are about people.
Judge Ramona Gonzalez is a family court judge who's fought for change in Congress.
This is so hard to understand because you would think that if a child's in danger and might be abused, of course a judge wouldn't put the child in that situation.
Allegations of abuse, she says lawyers sometimes advise parents not to even bring it up.
There are lawyers who will say, we're not going to mention the abuse because you can't corroborate it, and it will impact the judge's view on your credibility on other issues.
Now, here is William Gorin, the lawyer who writes the book for the American Bar Association, saying that lawyers are afraid to take on judges in state courts out of fear of being threatened with disbarment and other proceedings. So this guy, if there ever was an expert on how the ADA works, this guy is the guy. And I want you to hear what he says about how access really works.
So what are you looking for from me? I'm not sure I'm the best fit as much as I'd like to help, but I'm not sure I'm the best fit.
So can you
what are you looking for?
Who do I go to hold these judges accountable so that they have to give accommodations?
So you're looking for someone who's not afraid, I'm looking for a litigator that's willing to go in and take on state court systems.
There you go.
The problem that attorneys have is a lot of attorneys won't take this on because the court will fight back hard and threaten disbarment and other kinds of proceedings. So a lot of attorneys are scared to take this stuff on.
Sure.
People with disabilities, people who have been abused, people who have these reactions and have to go into court, they don't have equal access. I'm trying to change that. I need you to help me. Period. Courts everywhere stomp on these rights, and they don't care. I mean, I can call a court out of the blue and ask them for their ADA coordinator, and 9 times out of 10, they're not gonna know who I'm talking about. They're gonna have to go call 2 or 3 people to find out who this is, and then they're gonna deny the accommodation request blanketly, which is against the ADA. We've got to change this. Courts are amuck with corruption. And I will say this again. We will have a justice system when corrupt judges swing by the neck until dead on Courthouse Square. I'm going to say that again and again until somebody says, hey, wait a minute, you can't say that. And I'm going to say, why not? Because if we have corrupt judges sitting on the bench and they're adjudicating things, guess what? That's not a justice system. Period.